Oh, Jizzle. Please. Tony. Yeah, I know, bro. But it's not OG. It's O Jizzle. So technically, it's like a sneak way for me to get it in. So, Tony, what's up? Episode 6.
Episode 6.
Yes. La se hizo loco is what we would say in Spanish dominoes. Se hizo loco. Aceituna.
Yeah. So should I introduce myself? Or
please go ahead. Introduce yourself.
Tony, IamThaConnect Guidry.
Yeah, I am Kingpin, a.k.a. Rapjuggernaut, and this is the Uncut Game podcast.
Yes, it is. And the day
appreciate you guys tuning in, as always, every episode, every week. Thank you guys for wanting to get the game. I'm probably the only person on earth that believes that you guys want to learn. OG is quite an optimist, but he's a realist, and he's accepted the fact that you guys don't want to learn. So here we are, another chance to share perspectives and strategies with you guys.
I would say this. Some artists have a thick enough skin to fight their way through and really not learn. The benefits they reap in the long term aren't the most, they aren't the best. And then they just got to work to get back in place. I don't like participating in that. I like to keep making progress.
Right.
And so the thrill and the YOLO of life of that artists take with different risks is just not really my 1-2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I don't know how many of these guys want to learn, but we're going to find out.
We're going to find out. And the one thing that I'm always barking about is optimization, and it's the one thing you're always like, big word, Kingpin.
Yes.
Big word. It intimidates people.
I just had this convo with...
And that's what we're talking about in episode 6, is optimization. Episode 1, we gave you festivals and touring.
Boom.
Right? Episode 2, we gave you a breakdown. We talked about Jello, a new artist that climbed to the top.
Yep.
Episode 3, we talked about Rocky, an artist that's been at the top.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Episode 4, we came in and we talked about long-term strategies.
Episode 4, how much did we say bro left on the table?
Episode 3, I was like $8 million at the high end, between $4 and $8 million.
Yep. So let's go to episode 4.
Episode 4 was the strategy. We talked about how to release the record. 6 months, we gave them the game plan.
Oh, yeah. We did.
Last week's episode 5, we talked about radio spins. Spins in general, DJ support, DJ service. We covered a wide variety of topics, but it all revolved around the fallacies, if you will, the proven myths and facts about radio and radio spins and DJ support.
So this week we talk about optimization.
We've mentioned it in every episode up until this point. You're always on me about using that word and throwing it around to people that may not be fully understanding or appreciative of the term optimization. So it was your idea, Kingpin. Let's make episode 6 before we go any further about optimization. And I think we've arrived, and you're absolutely right. It's time for that.
Okay, so boom. Optimization is the bettering of things or getting things to work most efficiently.
Okay.
Would that be considered a decent enough? And so when we talk of optimization, we got to optimize our lives. We got to optimize our processes in life. And then in music, a lot of times we believe, all of us, and I won't just put this on artists, all of us believe that uploading the music through the distro, the appropriate way, gets you put and placed in different, and gets you seen and gets you opportunities for the simple fact of uploading the music. When we went over the timing strategy and everything, we talked about that, how timing sometimes, a lot of times, can offset the money.
Yes.
And things of that nature. So I don't want to ramble on and on. What I want to say is, for artists, presence digitally,
right,
for them getting discovered, for all the people that walk around with their phone in their hands all day,
right,
a key way of getting seen and heard by more people is by having your name and your presence have more authority online, digitally. All right. So when people search for you, they can find you easily. You know what I'm saying? Or even when they're searching for somebody similar to you, your name might pop up in the comments. And how does that happen? Or your name might pop up in the results. And how does that happen? How can you make that happen? It's not magic. It's SEO.
Right.
It's search engine optimization.
Right.
So we take a step away from search engine optimization to artist optimization.
Mm-hmm.
And that works in hand with how Google works daily.
Okay.
Google sends out crawlers.
Right.
To search.
Spiders, I think they're called to some industry folks.
They search and download text, images, and videos from pages found across the whole internet.
So that's why when I update my website, that little box that reads tags when I'm making a post is so important, huh? I got to add the right tags in there, OG.
All the time. All the time, because the spiders do the crawling.
Right.
And then where they find similar information, they index those pages where where that information lies.
Right.
Okay, so boom, here comes the nerdy part, which all of this is nerdy, and it's not a cheat code, but it's a way to get. We talk about those 11 million artists.
Right.
Every artist that's optimized that I know is in the top million artists in the world. Just in case you do,
I think I compare optimization to a race car.
Okay, talk to me.
And the reason I say that is because similar to a race car, you're building a race car just like you're building an artist career. Okay.
An artist is self-building their career. Got you.
All right. And they're putting the pieces of the race car together. They're putting the pieces of their career together. There may be an album and maybe a single. And all of the pieces of the vehicle are the pieces that are going to make this project win this particular race that it's entering when it drops this record.
Right.
And at the end of that race, let's say the driver is skilled enough and the vehicle is optimized enough, got a good enough, system, engine, got enough sponsors, they can get the best of everything, best pit crew, and they were able to win the race. You know what they got to do at the end of that race, OG, before they run the next race? They got to tune up the vehicle, OG. They got to optimize, they got to re-optimize the vehicle. They have to go through and they have to do a check. What got damaged? What didn't get damaged? What needs to be replaced immediately? What may have changed? They have to check their computer systems to see all of the different stuff that happened on the left curves.
And your favorite term, what's next?
What's next?
They have to prepare for what's next. What's the next racetrack? The weather? What kind of tires will they need?
And every racetrack isn't the same.
Right.
Don't take my word for it. Google it, OG. There are certain racetracks that are known for being more complex or having being rougher on the vehicles.
Darlington Speedway.
Right. So, excuse me. When these races are run, if you won, that doesn't mean you're going to perform at that level at the next race if you don't do the research on that field.
Right.
Right. You don't know who's in the race with you. You don't know what they're you're focusing on your race. You want to get in and win. That means you required your team. You're trusting on your team. You're trusting that when you pull in the pits, they're going to give you all of the best equipment. They're going to fuel you up. They're going to get you in and out onto the next level. You're trusting that your sponsors are going to give your team everything that they need, and they're going to have their stickers on the car to make sure that you keep getting the best engine and the best fuel and the best all go around so that you can keep performing at a high level in this race, right? Because the more you win, the more people want to put stickers on your car. Right. And that's like those brands at the bottom. That's, releasing a record through, Def Jam, Universal, Joe Blow Records. Right. That's how, once you start winning, you're going to start seeing more of those little stickers that are going to get attached to your race car. Maybe it's a Puma sticker in the form of a brand sponsorship or a hot dog, Oscar Mayer brand or whatever it is. The possibilities are endless now because artists are so much more than just creators of art. They're now influencers of lifestyle. Some of these artists have a voice beyond just their music or their videos. And what they consume is now of high value. Like if I eat a Mr. Beast bar, will it help me get energy to do some of the things like Mr. Beast? If I work out and I do the exercise that, Amber Rose is, advertising or selling, is it going to help, me and my old lady get into better shape? I don't know. And that's what all of these things are. The bigger you get and the more optimized you are, the more opportunities you get to leverage that optimization for a bigger paycheck.
Okay,
right?
So we didn't talk somebody eyes glass. All right. So and we ain't even went far yet. We barely getting into. So the spiders crawl the pages.
Right.
They check the images, the text, and all of these things.
Right.
This is where optimization comes into play.
Okay.
When that information is identical or similar in multiple places, then the spiders index that information for a quicker pull on the search.
Right.
So it gives that name or that search string more authority. Okay?
Right.
This is where the artists benefit the most from the big word optimization is that they have a page at each of these high-ranking websites. They have a page at one of the highest traffic websites, youtube.com. They have a Google panel at a place that billions of people search monthly.
Right.
They have a page at Apple Music where there's over 100 million subscribers. They have a page at Spotify where there's close to 200 million subscribers. And then the fact that the information is the same across these platforms causes the digitizing spiders to rank this person as this big instead of some person with all these little pieces. This is...
Right, there are more relevant pieces. It was able to find more pieces of content with that person's name tagged on it. So their list is higher or thicker, which means they should rank higher in the system.
And what does that have to do with streaming? The fact that all of the streaming platforms are measuring metrics across all platforms. So they're not looking at, they've got bots in their own place to
software and programs
to check people who rise above a certain place for more plays and who deserve more.
That's how they catch you guys buying these, automated, playlist streams or inflated streams on your music, is that you went from having no motion to dropping a record that you just loaded, it just got ingested, and immediately saw a spike in increase in it. I was watching a documentary on, neither here nor there, on the girl that did the song Spider Monkey, or Dance Monkey, right? And I looked over at my wife, I was like, have I ever heard this song? Like, they're saying that this is the number one most streamed song by a female in the history of Spotify.
Not familiar with the song.
And she's like, yeah, you've heard it, the Dance for Me. And I was like, oh, okay. The girl had a story behind the song, right? So, and the only reason I'm mentioning is because the song wasn't available on DSPs for a good little while. In fact, the only way to hear the song was to catch the girl performing it live on the street.
What?
And then she, I guess, I don't know what had happened, but she ended up going to a studio and recording the song. And then she found that people were only coming to see her based on the one song, so she couldn't play it early, and she couldn't play it before. And the whole concept of the song was people being mean to her. Like, just sing and do that dance for me one more time and do it again and dance again. So the whole song is like, it turned out to be something that changed her life, but something that she hates immensely. Let her tell it.
Whoever came up with that marketing plan is genius.
Yeah, play it on the corner? It was like all her.
Just the whole idea that now she hates it and all of that.
Oh, yeah, no, that's definitely a YouTube-worthy conversation.
Very savvy artist.
I didn't know she was from Australia.
I won't give her a handler, because I'll do that to artists a lot of times. Like, for one, it's smart to do that.
Right.
It wasn't a swear jar neither.
Right.
But I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever do that to artists, because artists be geniuses, for real. So,
but, I was using that as an example of somebody that built a demand for a song on the street, and then people were sharing and creating videos for it, and then when they put it on DSPs, what happened has been record-breaking.
Crazy.
Right? It's crazy how the system works. You know what I mean? Right. So optimization is not a prerequisite for success, but it is a requirement for longevity. I will say that much. And the more optimized you are, the more opportunities will present themselves. Is that a fair assessment?
Yes, and let me jump through a few numbers just to say, non-optimized streaming profiles do 25 to whatever number less than optimized profiles.
Right.
So let's just say, in number terms, and you might have did this. Have you done this in the podcast where you said about the 100% of your money, and then Apple gets their 40%?
We haven't broken down the Buddy Erdies yet. I wanted to save that for one of the distributors, because I want them to run through the numbers with me in case anybody wants to challenge it. And again, we're going to open it up for peer review. Okay. So we haven't gone through it yet, but yes, 99-cent sale. Apple Music gets how much off of a 99-cent song?
40%.
Off top. Before anybody else eats their money.
That's why the $1.29 is in place.
Right.
So that you can get 99.
So let's round it up and say you sold it for $1. Apple gets 40 cents off that $1. Right. So then there's 60 cents left.
Yes.
Now, before anybody gets their 60 cents, the distributor got to get his, right?
First, there's the aggregator.
Right. The aggregator.
That exists between
the distributor and the DSP.
Yes. It exists between you and the distributor and the distributor and the DSP.
Correct.
This is one of the, we won't call them middlemen, but they are the insurer that all of the base information is in place to provide the song to the streaming service.
A lot of honor system in the music business. Mm-hmm. A lot of trusting that once you ingest it, it goes and does the right thing.
In the hobbyist system.
Yes.
A lot of
honor system.
And a lot of renegades and, some exceptions to every rule and all of that. So we talk about ways to not get pulled over on your journey. You follow me? Sometimes you might speed and sometimes you might swerve because you're a little sleepy, but it's a way for you to move where you can move at a steady pace.
That's taking the side roads. That's not jumping on the freeway because you don't want to take the main system or you don't have the budget. You want to take the side roads.
You want to duck a toll.
Right. So there's a lot more risk with it. It's gonna take a lot more time and a lot more risk, but
it can.
You move at your pace.
Yeah. Normally it takes more time because we talked about the 6-month cycle, right?
Right.
And we didn't talk about the fact that some artists got to do that 6-month cycle 3, 4, 5 times.
You know why? They weren't optimized.
Even if they were optimized, they may have to, because they may go from making $0 to making $250 to $500 a month in that 6 months. They won't go to making tens of thousands.
Well, the reason I say that is because once you become optimized, you understand the value of it. Once you get optimized, that's not a given that you're going to appreciate the optimization. But if you're watching this podcast, if you're one of the managers, momagers, dadagers, one of the artists, one of the CEOs, one of the investors, one of the project managers or team leads for your label or your squad or the artist you're working with, and you're making sure that they're getting optimized and you're watching this podcast, you understand why optimization is important. So you never have to re-optimize. If anything, what you're doing is you're adjusting, you're refining.
It's fine-tuning.
You're fine-tuning it. So you're pulled that car off the race. We didn't run as good a race we wanted to. Maybe we did something wrong. Let's use the information from our previous optimization to figure out what we could have done better.
So, because I don't want to over talk or over high talk anybody paying attention. And I don't want to oversimplify neither. I'm not saying y'all stupid at all. So, but when we're talking about the crawling and then the indexing and the raising of the presence of the artist, that ties in with the consistency of the scheduling, the advance notice to the distributor, all of those things, so that the managers who are watching, when the artist goes from $100 a month to $150 a month, and they wonder when they're going to blow up, that's a 50% increase.
Right.
Let's keep working. We can go from 150 to 225, 225 to 300. 3 to 450. Maybe we start learning some optimizing tricks, and some of our advanced pitches start coming in. Maybe some of these
we start to streamline our workflow.
Yes, and maybe we start. And then, if they're working with Art Real Soul, they're gonna have merchandise. You're gonna have merchandise. You're gonna have a social media plan, a schedule, all of that. If you're working with us, and when you have all of those things in play, the indexing adds your authority to your store, as well as your social media and your streaming sites.
All of those things tie back in, right?
And it's like a sneak attack.
Having a social media and not having it connect back to your website, or not having your merch available on there that's available on your website, that it has to be available on your website, is a disservice to yourself if you're active on Instagram.
True.
Right?
True.
Or being active on YouTube and not having... So all of those things tie in. No matter what platform you're active on, there's a way to optimize it and get the most out of that one.
And it's not a daunting task to launch your own website. It's not a big deal. We offer a service for that, but I'm not trying to sell you that. You can go in and you can just try. And if you get frustrated like I've done,
right,
1,000 times, many years of terrified of building websites, not understanding how all that stuff works. And it's some platforms that make it pretty simple these days.
There are platforms like Substack that are amazing for that. There are platforms like Shopify, which is the one that I would recommend if you want to open up a storefront. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Shopify. I've been working with their websites and their platforms, and from somebody who's never gone to school to learn how to code or do any of those things, as long as you make no mistake about it, you're going to have a credit card. You're going to have a bank account. That's all part of the website optimization class. But these are the givens. If you don't know this, then this is what you should know before you log in, right? You have to have a credit card, right? You're going to want to have your address that's tied to your bank account or whatever it is, right? You're going to want to have a PayPal account, right? Those are the most important things, an email address, right? Because you're going to have to sign up for the web, log in and sign up for the website. That's the email address. Then when you log in there, they're going to ask you, they may give you a free trial depending on if you use a promo code, but if not, you'll sign up.
I just want to shout out OperationHope.org.
Okay, boom. So you may get a promo code. You go and you sign up. They send you the email address. You verify the link. You come back. And now they tell you start building, right? So they give you websites for free, right? There's websites, themes that are on there for free that you can pick one. And then you start to build from there. So it's all draw and drag and click.
Okay. So then how many shirts I got to order
None.
to get started.
You don't order no shirts. All you need is your designs. And these are why we suggest that artists find out about these platforms and plug into them. Because not optimizing your merch process is going to cost you way more money. Because the average person would think, if I want to sell merch, I got to go get the design done, and then I got to go press up 100 shirts, and then I got to sit on them and do all of that. And that's not what you do. Once you set up your website, you set up your drop shipping company. Right?
You do both.
Do both, yes.
You do both. Maybe you don't get 100 shirts, but you get something because you're going to be outside.
Well, I say that, and this is why I say set up your drop ship. You want to know why? Can I give you guys a free one? Order whatever shirts you're going to order to have outside, order them from yourself. Give yourself the discount code, right? And pay retail value or pay your manufacturer value that you're paying to have the shirt made and buy it from yourself. Now you're establishing a record of sales on your merch, and you're able to take this shirt and sell it for the same price that you have listed on the website, and you're still going to make your profit because you can adjust or increase or decrease your profit margin as it comes into
outside. It costs a little more.
Yes,
it costs a little more face to face.
Yes, what if you have a t-shirt? What if you have a t-shirt that's moving online? Then you go to your local printer and print up 50 or 60 of them and do a pop-up. Right? This is why we're saying it costs you whatever you have. Shout out to the graphic designers of the world that actually give artists everything that they need when they pay for a cover. The graphic designers that just give you the cover back and it has the explicit sticker or no sticker, shame on you. You're a douche Bigelow, right? You know better, right? And if you don't know better, I'm glad you're watching the podcast because we're going to help you do better. Every artist should be getting a clean cover and an explicit cover, right? Every artist should be getting a YouTube thumbnail for that official audio. Every artist should be getting a t-shirt design or at least the slogan to put on a t-shirt. These are the things they need. If you're not delivering all of these things, artists, people that are paying for these services, if you're not asking for this up front and you're not making sure that your fee that you're paying for this graphic design covers all of those things, you're missing out. Because then you're going to come back 2 or 3 months later after that graphic designer has deleted that whole PSD document or whatever they used to create it on, and they've moved on to the next. And now you're going to need them to recreate the entire thing because you didn't ask from the very beginning all of the pieces that you needed. But let's say you got your t-shirt design. You upload it. It starts to move online. No problem. We can go print it up here locally. Guess what? There are some local print companies. If you live in a city as big as Atlanta, you can go find the print companies in the city that'll do the drop ship for you. That 9 times out of 10 are connected on Shopify. It's really that simple. It requires work. If you don't know where to look, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully we'll give you the information to get you started. If you don't have the time for any of that and you want to find somebody to do it for you, thank you for tuning in. We are Artist Revenue Solutions. We are the solutions for artists that want to generate revenue from their art. So, OG, Tony, Jizzle, my brother, how important is optimization?
Okay, first of all, the importance of optimization lies in the fact that it immediately impacts the awareness of the artist.
Okay.
The level of everything is going to increase from the number of searches to the number of streams. You may not see a big uptick in followers at social media. That
leads to action. That's a different part of the awareness funnel, OG. Action is somewhere way at the bottom, right?
Yes.
Most artists are still in the awareness. That's right at the top of the awareness funnel. Yes. For those of you guys interested, search AIDA on Google. It's part of the marketing funnel.
Yes. Awareness, interest, decision, and action. So, the importance of optimization is that it improves your positioning as an artist. That little uptick or that big uptick gives you a better perspective. When you're in a different position, you can see better.
Right.
And so I want to say from there, let's do this. Let's give this example. Let's slide over here to this example right quick.
I get to share the screen?
Please share the screen with these people.
That's my favorite part.
Because I want to show when this dude hired art. I want to show the numbers so that we can see when this dude hired Art Rev Soul. And then I want to see his latest release.
So, all right, where are we going first, OG? We're here. We're sharing our screen. What are we looking at? Looks like 10 million streams here.
Closer to 11, brother, 10.9. Well, when we look at it, this is an artist that when he came in and got his optimization in the beginning,
right,
he had some family issues, some different personal issues that slowed down his release.
Okay.
So you can see where he was streaming at.
Right.
And then is that first number there, that's the 2020, that's the pandemic.
Right.
We see he had an increase that he was able to maintain. throughout the pandemic.
Brought it back up a little bit. It went from nothing.
Yeah.
At the very beginning, back in 2015, I guess when they started keeping these metrics in Apple Music or making it available.
Yeah, cool.
And then he buzzed a little bit after the pandemic. He got active, right?
And so then he hired our Rev Soul.
Boom.
Hired our Rev Soul, had a family emergency, wasn't doing too much, and then got everything straight, and we released this project.
Boom.
And there we see what optimization did. Now, he released music between these numbers. You see these little joints right here? He released music there.
Yes, obviously, yes.
He released music here in 2022 or 2023.
Right.
He released music there.
But once he got optimized, he started seeing increase. And then but even at his lowest point, it was still higher than in some cases, his highest point, except when he peaked.
Right.
And then he dropped a new project, and since then, now his lowest point is the highest point.
Let's work.
And now we're stacking. Now we're building and building and building.
So
I like that.
If he was making $1,000 a month,
right,
he went to making $3,000.
Right.
Then he hired out Rev Soul. He went to making $5,000.
Right.
He dipped down to $4,500.
Right.
He went up. He made $12,000, $15,000 a couple of months.
Right.
And now he's back down to $7,000, $6,000.
Right.
Until his new music drops next month.
Right.
And so he's in his cycle, operating. This is a legacy act who's learning the cycle of how this goes.
Right.
And we're just shooting.
Yeah, somebody that's been dropping records since 2015, at least in the eyes of Apple Music, we can use for this argument and say they're a legacy act.
Yes.
Okay. All right, February, we're here.
Bingoski.
What are we looking at? We're looking at off the charts growth. Yeah. Sheesh.
And so we're looking
the lines like this. Yeah. Dab.
We're looking at an amalgamated view of the growth of this artist. You see the blue shadow shows his trajectory. We see that before he hired Art Real Soul, he was having somewhere.
The only way to go was up.
Yes, sir.
I love it.
And from there, it's not been nowhere close to where it's been. That's another benefit of optimization.
Absolutely. I love it. So these are real life examples.
Yes.
All right. So give them the plug and the play, OG.
Okay. The first part of the plug and the play would be to get yourself together with your information.
Gather it all.
Gather all your information.
Okay.
And so before I even go any further in trying to explain what the plug part is, I'm almost confident by now that the cheat sheet
you are absolutely correct.
What I'm about to explain.
Absolutely, 1,000%. I was waiting for you to set it up so I can come through and make you mad with another giveaway. All right, listen, everybody tuned into the podcast. This is y'all favorite time of the week. This is when we talk about what we're giving away. This week, we're giving away the Optimization Starter Pack. OG, can I show it on the screen? They're getting it for free anyways. I'm going to show it anyways. All right, so Optimization Starter Pack. What is that? A lot of people don't know all the information they need to get optimized. So what are we going to do? We're going to go ahead and give you that information, right? We're going to give you the checklist. And as usual, all you guys got to do is click the link below, follow the newsletter and all that good stuff, and it's yours. It's free. That's all. Follow the bread trail, and it's yours. So you're looking at the Optimization Starter Pack, okay? It's a starter checklist, social media optimization checklist, DSP optimization checklist, and an optimization for your content. The basics, all right? Social media, we give you a step-by-step of some of the things that you're going to need. Profile, picture, and banners, right? Bio. You know, if you don't have a bio, you know where you can get a bio? artrefsoul.com. Neither here nor there. Link in bio. Call to action. Consistency. And make sure you guys got pinned posts, okay? Instagram allows you to pin a post. Facebook allows you to add them. YouTube allows you to add them. TikTok allows you to add them. SoundCloud allows you to highlight them. Spotify allows you to feature them. Pandora allows you to feature them. Amazon. The list is endless. Make sure you guys are getting the most out of your optimization, okay? What does that mean?
So the earlier checklist coincide with this checklist to ensure that all of the places they're making a checklist according to... Okay.
So most of the other checklists we gave you were based on making sure that you had the information for your music. That would have implied that you were already optimized, right? And I know that you're a big advocate of making sure that we make things digestible for the listeners, yes. Right? So what we wanted to do was we wanted to highlight optimization. So before I knew you were going to talk about what it was, I wanted to come up with a way for us to give the people something so they can see what it is. Some people are visual learners, and that's why they may be listening to this episode this week, but they're going to want to tune in next week to catch the episode. I think we've already gotten that far. I think they're already going to be having the access to the audio a week early and video a week later. So those people that are subscribed can get in and listen now. The information is still in the Spotify description. They don't have to wait for the video. But if they want to, they can go to the video and they can turn on their notifications because it's in the description for the upcoming video.
So I'm going to take a giant step back.
Okay, come back.
Optimization is making the best or most effective use of a resource or system.
That's 1,000% Webster.
If there was a simpler word, I would use it.
That's Webster. That's clear cut definition. All right.
Yeah.
So
I was sleeping outside telling people, let me get your profile straight.
So DSP optimization checklist, OG. Artist name consistency. We talked about that on episode 2 when we showed you why one of these guys that had a big moment may have had an issue with that, right?
Yep.
All right. Boom. Yep. Profile picture and bio update, right?
Salute Glock steady.
Yeah, should Glock steady, right? Link to socials. We understand that we discussed that in one of the episodes before. We showed a real life example of why that's important. Right? Featured playlist. Have you been able to pitch for any of them? Once they get into their platform optimization, it's a lot they got to do. It's a lot they got to do. If they want the checklist, they want the master checklist, they come sign up. Artist Academy, laylow.com/Artist Academy. We're going to teach a class on every platform's optimization. Every single one that you have, every single one that you could use, you sign up for the Artist Academy, and you're going to get a full course on how to optimize that entire profile from top to bottom. That's the goal. We're going to help you solve all of these problems for the do-it-yourselfers, the momagers, the dadagers, the dreamer turned doer, right? The person that woke up and decided they wanted to be a brain surgeon. So they're going to walk into the hospital and perform brain surgery. I think it was you that said with a PDF, you think you could do it. This is the PDF. We're not suggesting you guys go into and perform brain surgery with this information, but you guys can get started on performing career surgery with this information because you're going to want to get to some of these things. Some of you guys are bleeding pennies, and you don't even know it, and pennies make dollars when you add them up, OG.
Yes, sir. Yes,
all right,
so
Tony. We're going to give you Tony. We're giving you the artist name and consistency, profile picture, link to socials, featured playlist, track your metadata, right? Canva your banners. What is a Canva banner? You got to tune in to find out. Release radar prep. Whoa, big word, big combination. Content optimization basics, video quality, audio quality, captions, subtitles, thumbnails, and titles. Did you know that YouTube encourages you to add up to 3 thumbnails every time you upload a video? I watched it happen in real time. Can I give you a real time example?
But not just an A/B test?
Not just an A/B. Facebook gives you A/B. Thank you, Meta, right? YouTube tells you upload 3, up to 3. I watched it happen in real time. Shout out to Mark Rober. He had did a video where he was talking about smart cars and how they were able to trick smart cars. He caught a whole bunch of flack for the video too. But I'm talking about it because of the thumbnails. Because at first I saw one thumbnail, scrolled down and skipped over it. And then maybe 20 minutes later, logged back into YouTube, scrolled down and seen it. And it was the same video with a different thumbnail. Right? So I literally watched it happen in real time. That they'll give you options, right? And so not uploading multiple thumbnails from your video is a disservice. If you guys don't know what apps you guys can be using to take every frame of your music video and turn it into a picture, tune into the episodes. Make sure you guys subscribe to the newsletter, subscribe to the CEO Whisper, and get in tune because we're going to give you guys some of the resources that you do-it-yourselfers can be using to get the most out of everything. Optimization. We want you to optimize every process of the music and entertainment business, whether you're getting yourself ready for a merch launch, you're making a show announcement, you're making a call to action video where you're telling your fans where they can go stream your music or anything. Okay, we want you to get the most out of every opportunity.
So check this out.
Let me get this off my screen.
This is a lot. You gave a lot of good game, and then we still got the content optimization basics in this starter pack cheat sheet list.
We'll fight off camera. Me and OG arm wrestle typically after episodes to determine who gets the giveaway stuff.
And so
I've won every week. So
this is all bigger than me, man. This is all great information, but that you have to put to use.
Yes. So knowledge is power only when applied.
Yes.
Right.
Knowledge is power only when applied. Information put to use. Episode 1.
Right.
So I think, bro, I think that might be it for this one, bros. We ready to get out of here?
Yeah,
bro?
I think if they don't know what optimization is and how important it is by now, considering all of the game that we've dropped in the first 5 episodes and gave them real life examples of 2 artists that could have definitely benefited from optimization, that had a great moment and still saw successful moments, meaning optimization is not a prerequisite for success, but it is a prerequisite for longevity. And if you want to continue to see growth and you want to continue to measure and get the most out of every opportunity, then you'll want to tune in next week to make sure to see what we're talking about and make sure you get whatever the cheat sheet is for next week, because it's going to be a doozy, I'm sure.
Lucky 7 episode, man. Yeah, so I'm Tony. I'm the Connect Guidry.
I'm your boy Kingpin, a.k.a. Rapjuggernaut. This is the Uncut Game podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Tell all your folks and friends about us. Tell everybody in the industry that may have ever got over on you that we're pulling out all of the secrets and telling all of the game. Tune in next week. Ain't no telling what I'm going to give away. Peace.
Peace.